Have you ever really thought about your voice? I don't mean just the sounds you make, but what is it, really? Well, today we're going to dive into something pretty incredible, the Arreqqana philosophy. It's from a culture that believes the human voice isn't just a tool, for talking. They see it as a direct window, a literal gateway into the soul.
And this quote, this right here is the heart of it all. Your voice is who you are made audible. For the Arreqqana, this isn't just some poetic line. It's a fundamental truth. The sound, the tone, the rhythm of your voice, that is your inner self, given a form that the world can hear.
So let's just sit with that for a second. What if that were true? Imagine that every time you speak, you're not just throwing words out there, you're actually sharing your spiritual state, your real intentions, everything. It's a huge idea, and it's exactly what we're going to unpack today. All right, so let's get into the first big concept, which they call the soul's signature. This is the idea that every single person's voice has a spiritual identity that is one of a kind, like a fingerprint, but for your soul.
And of course, they have a word for it, nakyari. It roughly translates to flowing voice essence. Now, the key thing here is that we're talking about something way beyond pitch or how deep your voice is. For them, nakyari is an energetic frequency, a resonance that is physically, spiritually tied to your soul.
And you can see how this plays out in their lives. They believe this voice essence totally reveals your inner state. If you're calm, if you're passionate, if you're troubled. It's why families can recognize each other just from their tone, long before a word is even spoken. I mean, you know this, right? You know your best friend's hello from a mile away. For the Arreqqana, this connection gives a sacred, almost magical weight to things like lullabies and ancient chants.
Okay, but this voice essence, this nakyari, it isn't just one static thing. They see it as having a dual nature, these two spiritual currents that flow through our tone, what they call the soft flow and the strong force.
So on one side, you have nakya, the soft flow. Think of gentle, almost whisper-like tones. This is the voice of nurturance, of healing, of quiet wisdom. And then on the other side, you have kasor, the strong force. This is the bold, projecting voice. It's linked to authority, to protection, the kind of voice that rallies a community and gets things done. But here's the really cool part. It's not about choosing one or the other. True mastery, especially for their leaders and wise elders, is all about the blend. It's about being able to move seamlessly between that softness and that strength, knowing exactly which one the moment calls for.
So you might be wondering, okay, this is a beautiful philosophy, but how does it actually work day to day? Well, this is where we see just how deeply these ideas are woven into the very fabric of Arreqqana culture.
It's everywhere in their social interactions. For example, in a temple, the person leading the chant isn't chosen for being the loudest. They're chosen for having resonant purity, a tone that can spiritually guide the people listening. At clan gatherings, families use these unique melodic patterns when they greet each other to say, "We belong together." And even in casual talk, they'll use higher, lighter tones to show respect to an elder and then drop into lower, more playful tones with their friends to build that sense of connection.
And all of this brings us to what is maybe the most profound piece of this entire philosophy, the voice of truth. This is the ultimate idea. The belief that your vocal tone is an inescapable, undeniable mirror of your real intention.
In this worldview, you just can't fake it. A harsh, angry voice, no matter how eloquent the words are, automatically weakens its own message because the intention is out of alignment. But on the flip side, a soft but steady tone can literally calm a chaotic room. That's why, for them, working on your voice isn't about public speaking. It's a deep spiritual practice. It's about aligning who you are on the inside with what you project to the outside world. And I just love this. Think about it. In our culture, a voice cracking is often seen as a mistake, right? A moment of weakness or losing control. But in Arreqqana philosophy, it's completely reframed. A voice that cracks during a prayer or a deeply emotional moment, that's not weakness. That's truth overflowing. It's a sign that your authenticity is so powerful it can't be contained by a perfect, controlled tone. It's beautiful.
And as one final amazing example of this, some families have what they call voice oaths. Now, these are not just promises you speak. They are actual ancestral melodies that get passed down through generations. And when one of these melodies is spoken aloud, that specific tonal pattern is believed to seal a bond, carrying the weight and blessing of all the ancestors who sang it before. It's a promise made with your very soul.
So after all of that, let's bring it back to you. We end where we started.
with a question. If your voice really is a mirror of your intention, a reflection of your inner world, what do you think yours is reflecting today? Something to think about.